Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Coach Corey Jones, and today I wanted to take some time to talk about the mindset of self-belief, believing that you can do something. The reason I want to talk about this is because I believe it's one of the most important mindsets to have in order to accomplish really anything in life or to grow. Now, I'm not talking about the sky's the limit mindset, believing that you can achieve anything. While I do think that that's important, as so not to cancel out or to limit yourself and not believe you can do certain things. I'm more so referring to trying new things, getting into something new, giving something a shot for the first time. I'm not talking about people who have been doing something for years, as typically when you have that kind of experience, you know what you're capable of and you know that you can accomplish things. For long-time athletes or people who have been going to the gym for a long time, people who've been running their business for a long time, it's not really about having self-belief or not. At that point, it becomes more about discipline, as they already know what they can do. They already believe in themselves. I'm talking about when you want to give something a shot for the first time and you're afraid to do it, or you're doubting yourself. You don't think that you can do it. You really don't know that you can or can't do it, but you don't think you can. So therefore, you're hesitant to try. That's when I'm talking about having self-belief, and that's when I believe it's truly most important. Because 9 out of 10 times, in my opinion, once you try something for the first time, you realize it's not as scary as you thought, and you realize that it wasn't really as hard as you thought. So having that self-doubt in the first place was really just a fear mechanism that was unwarranted and unnecessary. Now, let's use somebody who wants to go to the gym for the first time, for example, or even somebody who's been to the gym before and they want to get back into it, but they have that fear of embarrassment, the imaginary audience thing going on, meaning you think that when you go to the gym, you're not really afraid of getting hurt by the equipment. You're not really afraid of, anything else going wrong, but it's more so, what are people going to think about me? And the reason you might think this is because you're new to working out. You don't really understand how to work out. You're not efficient at it. You're not a professional weightlifter. So you're kind of doubting yourself. You're thinking, if I go in there, I may make a fool out of myself. Let's think if one of your friends had this same thought process. If one of your friends, whether or not you are a gym goer or not, whether or not you're in shape or you're healthy or not, if one of your friends like, hey, I was thinking about going to the gym, what are you going to tell them? Like, yeah, go for it. You got this. I believe in you. Or, yeah, you probably shouldn't go because there's going to be people, and what if they look at you? I'm willing to bet that there's a good chance that you're not going to tell them, oh, people might look at you. You're probably going to root for them. You're probably going to cheer them on a little bit. And that's because you're going to be their hype man. And having a hype man is a great thing to have, but I think it's more important for us to be our own hype men or women, because you may not always have your friends around. When self-doubt hits, you may not have somebody there who's like, no, I believe in you. I think you got this. It's not going to be as hard as you think. You have to do that for yourself. Now, think about anything that you've done in the past where you may have been afraid to do it, or you were hesitant to do it because you didn't know the outcome. And then somebody finally pushed you over the edge and you realize, wow, that's not that scary at all. Happens with my kids all the time. They want to do something and I'm like, dude, just go for it. And it takes them a while to build up because they have that self-doubt. They don't quite believe in themselves yet. But once they kind of step off that ledge, they realize like, wow, that wasn't really as hard as I thought it was going to be. That really applies to most things. Unless you're setting your goals that are something outrageous and not realistic, which comes down to proper goal setting, there's a good chance that you're either going to hit your mark or you're going to come up really close to hitting your mark. So that self-doubt was never really warranted. It was your own brain kind of fucking with you and telling you like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this for A, B, and C reason. But those reasons aren't really that valid. And those consequences that you're placing on it really aren't that valid either. Meaning, what's the worst that's going to happen? Is this life or death? If you go to the gym for the first time, are you going to die and that's the end of your world as you know it? Or may you face what you believe is going to be a little bit of embarrassment? If you do face that embarrassment, is it going to last for the rest of your life, or is it something that's going to blow over in the next couple weeks or days, if it even exists at all? Like I said, there's an imaginary audience thing that I think is stopping most people from believing in their goals, and that's the belief that people are watching you when they're really not. Typically, that's something that happens with kids, and we tend to outgrow it, but I know many adults still have that issue of believing that people are watching them when they're not. Meaning, if I go into the gym right now, all eyes are going to be on me. When reality is most people are probably a little bit insecure themselves. And most people are probably kind of overcoming their fears in the gym themselves. There are going to be those people who have been there for a long time, but they've been there, they've done that, they know the path. They're not looking at you like, wow, what is this idiot doing? I mean, there might be some people doing that, but if you're going in there and giving it a good, honest effort, chances are that all the people around you are not going to be judging you. And then the ones who are experienced, if anything, they may help you out. So Get that imaginary audience out of your head, and then realize that if you do something that's embarrassing, let's say you fall right on your face, what's that really going to do to you as a person? You know, having self-belief and overcoming these fears and giving things a shot is what allows us to grow. Even if we don't quite hit that mark, there's a good chance that when you first do something, you're gonna succeed a lot more than you thought you were. But even if you don't, let's say you only kind of like hit it 75% on the head, that's still an accomplishment, and that's still gonna boost your confidence. The more you do things, the more confident you're going to get in your ability for the future, and the more self-belief you're going to have. But it all starts with that one small bit of self-belief in the beginning where you kind of push yourself over the ledge and you're like, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot because I think I can do it. There's a quote out there that says, whether you think you can or can't, you're right. And while I love that quote because it's referring to the mindset and referring to having self-belief, I don't think it's quite 100% accurate, meaning there are things you think you can do that you can't do. You know, there's things that you think you can accomplish that you may never accomplish, and that's completely fine too. I think if you're setting your goals for the stars and you're coming up short, you're still in a great place. But I kind of made up a quote of my own. If you don't think you can, you won't. If you do think you can, you might. Meaning, if you're ruling out the possibility for success before you even try it, there's a good chance you're never even going to try. If you think you can do something, there's a good chance that you might actually accomplish it. So it all comes down to the thought process. What's going on in your mind before you start these new adventures or these new goals? But really, it just comes down to self-belief. Do you think you can do it? And then, really step back and ask yourself. Like I said about the hype man or the hype woman, when your friend's going to do something, typically we have no reason to believe that our friends can't do things because what they're fearing is really not that big of a deal at all. They're just getting in their own heads. And the same applies to us. What you're setting your goals out for probably are really just a step above where you're at now. So you need to take a little bit of growth to get there, but it's going to be within your grasp. And like I said, if you come up short, you're going to learn from it and you're going to grow from it. So have that positive mindset that you think you can do it. You may or may not hit the nail on the head the first try, but you're either going to gain experience or you are going to hit the nail and you're going to be very damn proud of yourself. Like I said, that self-belief is going to grow. That confidence is going to grow. But it all starts with that very first time of believing in yourself. You have no reason not to. Be your biggest hype man or hype woman and see how far it takes you. Start off small. Assess your ability level, like where you're currently at with whatever goal it is you're trying to achieve, and just take the next step up. Like I said, shooting for the stars is great, but it's not always realistic. Focus on progression. Focus on the process and the journey, and realize that you are capable of accomplishing that. But it starts with self-belief, guys. I can't emphasize enough how important self-belief is. It's going to make or break you. When I talk about things on my Instagram or when I post YouTube videos all the time, I usually tell people that things aren't going to make or break you, so don't stress out about them that much. But self-belief is one of those things that's going to make or break you, and it all starts in here. Once you start to have it, like I said though, it grows and it gets better and it gets stronger, and you grow and you get better and you get stronger. So quit doubting yourselves, be your own hype man or hype woman, and start believing in yourselves, because that's what's going to bring you success in anything you do. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. And then if you think you know anybody who can benefit from this video, send it to them. That is my goal, is to reach and impact as many people as I can. So if you can share this and you can get this out there to people that it will help, send them their way. Subscribe to my channel, like and comment, and I'll see you guys the next time.